Hello,
Hello.
everybody. Welcome to our next masterclass. I'm very, very excited to welcome our next guest, who is the infamous Atlanta Cobb. But before I do kind of go into that, this is a place where every single month we speak to leaders in the industry. And these leaders share their insights, their learnings on how artists can navigate their careers successfully. And we've had some really interesting webinars and masterclasses so far. From things like building your artist brand through to creator pitching, advertising, we cover really the most important topics for our community. What we also do is we'll share these with you on YouTube afterwards, and we'll share them via our newsletter. So you will get access to these masterclass sessions. This month, I'm very excited to welcome the multi-platinum selling artist manager. Atlanta, I'm going to do this as best as I can. Hopefully big enough. The multi-platinum selling artist manager, Atlanta Cobb. And Atlanta has worked with the who's who of the industry, including artists like Drake, Post Malone, Nicki Minaj, Jessie Ware. The list goes on. She's helped generate billions of streams for artists and has taken artists to Brit and Ivor Novello nomination status and beyond. In 2022, Atlanta launched and headed up her own artist management, coaching, and consulting business to serve, develop, and educate artists at all levels globally. And now I'm very excited to say that she's here to share her top tips and insights with us. So before I throw it over to you, Atlanta, just a bit of housekeeping. What I wanted to say is, if you have any questions, throw them into the Q&A channel. I'll pop a message in there in a second. And what we will do is we will get a chance to pause throughout and answer those questions. And we'll save a bit of time at the end for questions too. So Atlanta, I want to throw it over to you.
That was beautiful, Alex. Thank you so much. What an introduction. And hi everyone. Thank you for jumping on. So yes, we'll do a few questions throughout. I'm going to probably throw a lot of information at you in today's masterclass. So if you wanted to take notes, this is your chance to maybe grab a pen and paper if you're analog, or get a notepad up on your laptop or phone or something, because I'm going to run through this in the short space of time that we have. But what I will say also in preface with everything that I'm about to tell you is that nothing is really gimmicky. It's nothing to do with trends. I'm not going to tell you how many times to post, because building an audience online who truly care about you, it's really more about how you're showing up and the psychology behind it. So hopefully we're going to have a little bit of a fresh take in today's lesson. But like we said, if you guys do have any questions, just put them in the chat. I'd also love to know where everyone is watching from around the world. That's always my favorite thing. I see someone's from Italy. I just came back from a lovely holiday in Italy as well. Sandor, I hope I've said that right. So yeah, anyone from around the world, just let us know where you are, because it's a global industry. So, okay, right. I'm going to run straight through it. So if you haven't met me yet, it is lovely to meet you. Maybe you see my face pop up on your For You page, and hopefully I've given you some sort of value. Hopefully it's gone down well. But if you haven't met me yet, my name is Atlanta Cobb, and I've worked in the music industry my entire life. I started very young when I was about 15, working with Florence and the Machine, and I've worked at Columbia Records, Island Records. I've worked in artist management. I've worked with Becky Hill, Ella Henderson across management. And then 2022, I started coaching artists. So I share free music industry advice online on socials under @Music Industry Mentor. And we've just launched a membership as well. So plug away, which is actually where some of these slides is from part of the course, which is within the membership. So this is kind of the best bits of it. So I'm going to give you a little taster as well. But one thing that I often get asked when coaching all the artists around the world is, how do I build an audience? How do I do social media? And I am in the trenches with you doing this. And I've been doing this on TikTok and Instagram more so, completely organically, which means I haven't spent any money on paid marketing or paid ads. And at this point, I'm kind of trying to see how long I can go without pouring gasoline on the fire. But there's been loads of stuff that I learned through not cutting corners and not relying on paid ads too soon. And it's truly been so eye-opening, having been and done it. So this is all just coming from my firsthand experience. But like I said earlier, we're not going to be talking about trends. I'm not going to be telling you to post a certain post on one day and then post the next post on that day. it's not really about that. A lot of this is about your psychology, the creator's psychology, and the consumer's psychology, and also how long things can take as well. So just to really put it into perspective, that's what my TikTok looked like when I was traveling and I was off and away, quit my job, going on a little holiday. That was summer 2 years ago. I just hit 1,000 followers, and as you can see, nothing to do with music industry mentor. Wasn't even posting music industry content. And then fast forward to 2 years, I've built an entire business, an entire brand, and the posts are growing every single day. We've just crossed over 100,000 just on TikTok and Instagram alone, and completely organic. So I've never had to pay for any of this stuff. So proof that, again, little steps every single day to the wider goal. And another thing is, what I'll tell you is that you'll hit the 20K mark, you'll hit the 50K mark, the 100,000K mark, and then you go, that's cool, good to know it works. But it doesn't really bring you that much happiness. It's really cliche, but it is all about the build to the mountaintop. So just a little proof that, 2 years I've been doing this stuff. And yes, I've hit points where I've plateaued and I've considered, do I just maybe spend on ads? And I'm so glad I still haven't caved so soon and relied on ads. And I weathered the storm when I've kind of plateaued, because growth is not linear. And so you can't expect your numbers to keep doing this. You're going to go up, you're going to go down, you're going to go up. You might plateau for a bit. When I hit 20K, I plateaued for a bit. And then I got the itch because I was like, I need the hit of dopamine again. I want to feel the spike. And I considered running ads on TikTok, but I didn't. And again, there's reasons why. So also I'm going to get the Q&A box as well, just in case. Oh, okay. We've got a few people saying where they're from. Beautiful. California. Love it. Spain, Barcelona. Sweet. Okay. My Spanish sucks, so I'm not going to try it. Okay, cool. So the very, very first thing when you are showing up to social media is I have basically adapted. Some of you may have come across a Japanese book called Ikigai. It's probably worth reading if you kind of feel a little lost in life, or maybe you want to discover your purpose in life. But I think if you are in tune with music, you've probably figured out what you want to do in life. You kind of have that purpose, but it's probably worth a read anyway. But the whole Ikigai notion, I've adapted it to social media because I think a lot of us, and that's the book just at the bottom corner there on the right, it's a blue book. I think a lot of us, when we start with social media, and just put a yes in the chat if you are someone that is on social media and are only posting on social media because that's what you think you've got to do. Or maybe you are approaching social media because you see others posting on social media and you're like, well, that's just how we build fans. We just have to post on social media. So if you are someone that's showing up to social media just with the belief of, I'm showing up to social media and I'm just posting because I got to post, then yeah, just let me know if that's you. And I'm not going to judge you if that is you, but what that does tell me is that we haven't yet figured out what is your thing, what is your seat at the table at social media, what are you incredibly good at. And obviously music is the top line, but I want you to really, really think in depth. What are you specifically good at? Are you good at performing? Are you good at songwriting? Is lyrics your thing? Is your audience really into lyrics, or are they into melody? Or do you crush it at live? Like, what specifically are you incredibly good at? Maybe you're good at talking to camera, but it's worth just looking at this table. And I did this exact same thing with me, by the way. When I started, I was like, what do I love? Oh, music. What does the world need? Interesting, entertaining, or educational content. That's what people get. That's the value. I tell you what the world doesn't need: more rubbish, boring videos. We've got enough of those. So really dial into, like, what do I love? What does the world need? What can you be paid for? So your talents. So my thing is, again, my consulting, my education, my knowledge. Your thing will likely be music, producing, performing. You can be paid for your music in a range of ways. And then the last one, the most important one as well, is what are you good at? And what can you do consistently? So what am I good at? Talking to camera, talking about the music industry. What can I do consistently? Those things. So lean into, like, what can you do incredibly well? What can you do consistently? And really start, like, writing this out. because starting at this point will enable you to step back and go, oh, okay, so if I'm incredibly good at production, maybe I'm really good at breaking down and showing how I created my songs. Just post about that when you're building up your audience. Just lean into exactly what you're really good at. If you are really good, if your audience love lyrics, like if I was talking to Taylor Swift right now, I'd go, oh, a lot of your audience really resonate with your lyrics. Your lyrics is your thing. So if Taylor Swift was starting out right now and she was like, what TikToks do I make? I'd be like, create content where you are pushing your lyrics to the forefront. If Beyonce was starting out and she was like, what content do I make? I'd say, Beyonce, you got a great voice. Lean into content that shows off your voice, maybe your choreography. I would not be saying maybe don't do a Taylor Swift and put your lyrics to the forefront. So that's why I can never give blanket advice to every single artist, because you're all different. And that's also why when you see people go, post this post on this day and post this post the next day, you're all going to get different results because you're all different. So that's why you, as the creator, you need to sit down with yourself and figure out what you are good at and what can you do specifically. So two very, very, very important ways to start social media. The next part is you really want to think about how you are showing up. How are you clocking in? How are you approaching social media? And I totally understand that it's not everybody's favorite thing. And all my old videos are still on my TikTok, by the way. When I go look at my old videos, my confidence is nowhere near as it is now. I was rubbish at speaking to camera. Bear in mind, I'm an artist manager. So I had everyone in the industry seeing my stuff. Everyone at all the record labels, all the artist managers, all the artists that I've worked with, because they all have your number. So you get thrown onto their For You page. The most naked experience is being an artist manager who's been conditioned to be behind the camera, now stepping in front of the camera. So I was shitting myself. So you can see that in the old videos, but with time and by doing it, my confidence has grown. I've become more articulate. I can hold myself easier. My editing's gotten better. So when you approach this, one thing I realize is that how you show up is the energy you're going to get back. So, and I've had DMs from artists literally say like, oh, I'm just posting any old rubbish. I'm posting crap. And I'm like, oh, so you're calling your own content rubbish and crap? How on earth do you think anyone else is going to care about what it is that you're posting? And that is just unfortunately the way. Don't kill the messenger here. That is it, because we're all vying for everybody's attention, and it is so quick on these platforms. So and this also should ricochet across your entire career. Again, with my artist manager hat on, I will always say, I always want to work with an artist who is the leader of the project. They are the CEO and they are pushing their project forward. Because if that artist is incredibly passionate about what they're doing, again, that energy just feeds off and it goes straight through the screen. So every time, even on my bad days, even when I don't really want to post, I always want to make sure that I'm showing up as my best, positive, confident, empowering self on social media. There's a lot of people who kind of offer a lot of music industry advice on social media, and their default is a quite negative mindset. They maybe criticize a lot of artists, tell them what they're doing wrong. I'm not about that. My whole thing is like, yep, it's hard, but I'm going to tell you how to do it. And here's actually how you get it done, but in a more empowering tone. And I've done that specifically because, again, that's who I am naturally, but I don't want people to watch my content and feel worse about themselves. I want them to feel like they've learned something, and I want them to feel good and motivated to go do the thing that I'm helping them with. And so that's, again, it all taps into how you show up and how do you want people to feel after watching your content. So if you're showing up with the feeling of like, I don't want to do this, I don't care, I promise that's going to be going straight through the camera. It's going to be feeding out to the other side, and people, they will feel it, they will pick up on it. So always check yourself with these things. I call them friction points. So friction points is basically a thing that stops you from doing the thing you want to do. So I'll say that again. Friction points is the thing that stops you from doing the thing you want to do. And there's a load of them. These are just a few. Some of them, they're in the form of direction. So maybe you're just lost. Maybe you don't know what to do. If so, return to the social media ikigai. Figure out what is your purpose. Why are you posting? Every post has got to have some sort of purpose. Otherwise, again, we're just posting for the sake of it, and that's leaky energy. We don't want that. Lack of identity, again, there's lack of ikigai, same sort of thing. Lack of identity. So lack of identity could be like you just haven't really worked on your branding yet, your aesthetic. You don't know your tone of voice yet. So if so, I would say stop, figure out that first before you run headfirst into just posting on social media. Because again, we're building a cohesive artist project, a cohesive brand that you want people to connect with and identify with. You want them to land on your profiles and go, yeah, that's a bit of me. I'm going to hit follow immediately. And how you get that to happen is all of these things are in place. Lack of creativity, again, half of the reason why things go viral, even though it's not all about going viral, but half the reason why is because it's a creative idea. It's a really interesting idea. And I think I've seen a lot of people fall victim to going and marketing their music, and it's just copy and paste. We announced the song, we announced the pre-save, song is out now. Drop music video. Done. Oh, go stream my song again. Go stream my song again. And it's that. Got a show. I'm going to post the poster to the feed, and that's it. That's the social promotion for the show. And we're lacking the creativity here. And those who do it well, they aren't watching what everyone else is doing. Because what happens is you then get influenced by everyone else. That's why at certain points, we've all seen everyone going, this is the song of the summer, because they've seen one video do well and they think, oh yeah, I'm just going to copy it. Whereas, and this is why I'm really, really big on blinkers on. Yeah, there's a few competition out there. There's a few other people showing music industry advice. I don't look at any of their shit because I don't want to start creating content that is the same as theirs. I always want to come at it with my own original thoughts, my own original approach, and my own creativity. And so I think it's really easy to get swayed and influenced when we go on social media and we fall into just consuming rather than creating. And so real important one is blinkers on. If you are, and we all get it, I've been on holiday for the last 2 weeks and I've barely posted on TikTok because my brain is switched off. I'm not in creative TikTok mode. It will come back. I'm not putting any pressure on myself. But I also know that in those moments of peace for my mind, going offline, that's when I get the best creative ideas. And so don't put so much pressure on yourself to be creative. But again, allow yourself space to actually create awesome content because that's the stuff that works well. So again, this all bleeds into if you're just showing up with the notion of I've just got to post, you're probably already dialing down how creative you could be. And again, you don't need loads and loads of money to be creative. I've seen some people just literally shoot it on their phones, and I've seen some incredible creative ideas on marketing their music, and it's worked. So that's a big one. Other friction points, lack of patience. That's huge. You've just seen how long it's taken me to get 100,000, 2 years of consistent posting. Patience, again, I don't blame anyone for it, but I think what's happened is we are so attuned to everything being instant. We can go on a Spotify and access any song at any second of the day. We can text people, get a response immediately, call people immediately. We go on TikTok, we get the hit of dopamine watching videos immediately. We post, we want to get the likes and the views immediately. TikTok has probably also worsened this because when it first came out, we would 3-4 years ago, if you were on it, you could post and within maybe an hour, you'd probably know if you were going to go viral or not, but you would see videos skyrocket immediately. And so what's happening is because of the world around us, we have lost the art of patience. And I see this not only on social media, but on everything. And so half the time as a coach, I'm always asking, I kind of have to be the bad cop. And as an artist manager too, I always say, what did you want it to do? What were your expectations here? And half the time I see people set expectations without actually having any data to back it up. And so I'm really big on goal setting and grabbing data, tracking your progress. How many times are you posting? Is it converting? Is it not? Are you engaging? Are you not? How much are you putting in and how much are you getting back? And if you track that data enough month by month, then you can just do kind of basic math And then you can work out a guesstimation of, oh, okay, so based on the last 4 months worth of data, I know that's a really unsexy word, but it is important. Last 4 months of data, I see that month on month, I on average grow 100 followers every month on Instagram, and I post 3 times a week. So if I don't change any output, do the math, you'll probably grow, I don't know, another 400 followers organically in the next 4 months if you don't change anything. And so that's why getting your data in and tracking stuff can really help align your expectations. And half of this stuff, half the reason I see people give up on social media is because they don't do that. They set unrealistic expectations of themselves and they put too much pressure on themselves and they're not patient. And so they give up because they haven't hit this random target that they've set themselves without any data. They've not hit it and they've gone up. Okay, well, I'm not going to try this again. It's not working for me. It's the algorithm's fault. I've heard all of it. And then they give up. And it is all coming down to a lack of patience and unaligned expectations. So that's a real biggie. Honestly, start tracking your data. Really easy. Go into analytics. Takes 5 minutes at the end of the month. Write them down. And it will really help you figure out, guesstimate, I'm going to hit X amount of followers in X amount of months. And this whole process starts becoming a lot nicer. So other things as well, lack of focus. And I could unpack all of these, but I appreciate the time. So lack of focus, comparing you again, we've touched on that, and too much ego. That's another killer. So the whole ego thing as well is you got to tell yourself that this isn't actually about you. None of this stuff is about you. And when you approach social media, you got to leave the ego at the door. So when I say it's not about you, it's because it's about the audience. Audiences want to feel seen and heard and nurtured. And so again, same thing on my page. My page is all for the musicians, producers, artists, managers out there. It's not about me. I just somehow have a platform as a byproduct. People want to work with me because I've given them great value for free. So they just naturally want more of it. Exact same thing with you guys. You show up and you give your audience, and I get into this a little bit in a bit, it's called the give, take method, but you show up and you show your audience that you are there for them. You do that over and over and over and over again, they will start coming back to you. Again, it all comes back to you. Where I see people go wrong, and this isn't just musicians, these are like some of the biggest brands in the world as well. I think like Walmart on TikTok sucks because they don't understand this. But those who just show up on social media, TikTok specifically, and only show up to promote themselves, only talk about me, myself, and I, and then they wonder why no one cares about them, why it's not converting. It is because there's like this invisible barrier up, and people, they're not being let in because it's just, I'm only showing up to sell something. I'm only showing up to promote something. If you think about it, we're being promoted to, as consumers now, we're being promoted to every single second we open up these apps, or when we go out and we're hit by billboards or radio adverts. There's advertising everywhere. So actually, tiny little changes you can do. So even when you're posting, change the pronouns from me, myself, and I. You, your, POV, you did this. Even if it's about you, your, always make it about the audience. Easiest way to farm engagement, ask questions. Always ask questions. I have done this ever since I started, still to today. In my TikTok comments, I now have people just commenting, being like, oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much. And I'll go, thank you so much, Alex. Are you releasing music right now? This has nothing to do with the comment, but I know that that person's probably going to be a musician. Therefore, they're probably going to be working or releasing music right now. And they're going to want to talk about their music. So now they're going to come back to my post. They're going to comment again. Now I've facilitated a conversation. TikTok doesn't know what we're talking about. It just sees engagement. Whereas if I were to reply to everyone going, this is amazing, going, thank you so much, or heart emoji, or thanks, I've closed that conversation. So the best, easiest way to get people coming back, ask questions. Ask questions in the comments, ask questions in the captions, ask questions in your videos. Again, whenever I'm the first person to post, I like, favorite, and comment on every single video I've ever done, because then that video goes out onto someone's For You page immediately. Someone, and again, we all do this. We all want social proof. We all want to know, is this worth our time and attention? We all look for the validation to see the like count, the comments, the saves. And we want that to tell us, is this video good before I've even watched it? We all do it. All of our eyes dart to the right. So what I do is I post a video and I'm the first person, no shame. I will post a comment and it will be a question, because not everyone, but it will invite some people to cross over the fence and engage in the conversation. And that's how you start the chain rolling, always. So be your biggest fan, comment on your stuff, like it. People will see it. And then again, the other thing, and this is where ego comes into play, but presume that no one knows anything about you. And this is again, something I see people trip up on, especially on TikTok, because every time you post on TikTok, the slate is getting wiped clean every single time. And I think a lot of us have grown up with Instagram, and we've all presumed that, oh yeah, we just treat the same apps. We treat them the same. Instagram, TikTok's the same. No, they are not. And Instagram is more geared towards community. So you have things like stories. Most people are looking at stories now than feed anyway. But the whole notion of Instagram, because it's better geared towards community, the way the app is built and the features you have, you can kind of dip in and out of people's stories. Whereas TikTok, nope. No one knows if you've released a music video or if you've released a song. Again, the easiest way to figure this out is ask yourself, some of your favorite creators on TikTok, tell me exactly what they've done today. Have they dropped a product? Have they released a music video? Have they released a song? Do we know? Are we up to date with their story? Because I'm not. I couldn't even tell you some of the names of some of my favorite creators. It's that quick on TikTok. So because of that, because we see such tiny glimpses on TikTok, you have to post with context every time. So that's why behind the scenes posts on TikTok notoriously always flop, because you're lacking the context, because that's going out to someone and it's going, yeah, this is what my song is about, or this is the behind the scenes of the music video that I posted about this song that I dropped. And that's going to someone who's like, I've never seen your song. I haven't listened to it. I don't know it. So why would I therefore care about the behind the scenes of the music video? And this is the issue with TikTok. So always presume no one knows anything. That's why half of my videos, I have to reintroduce myself every time. And you say it over and over again. Because the other thing is I've posted, I think I used to get comments often when people are like, you've shown up on my For You page like 7 times. I might as well just follow you now. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. So it's because I've reintroduced myself and I've hit you over and over again. So never presume anything. Post with context. Biggest thing to this. Okay, a little temperature check. How are you doing? Have we lost everyone? Am I chatting absolute breeze? Are we like, does everyone, is it hitting? Is it hitting? Because I understand there's a lot that goes into this.
It's hitting on this side.
It's hitting on that side? Yeah, I think so. Good.
I've made lots of notes.
Beautiful stuff. Yeah, I mean, take whatever you want. Okay, sweet. So, how are you doing for time? Okay, we got a little bit of time. Right. So, again, a lot of what I do is reverse engineering a lot of this stuff. And again, I think this is where this really helps with just taking a step back. And again, it really helps to never presume anything. But every time, just before you post, stop and go, would I watch this? What does this give me? What value does it give the viewer? And I'm going to dissect what value actually means. But just reverse it, guys. Really easy stuff. Like the very first 2-3 seconds, the hook, the text hook, whatever it is, whatever you're saying, whatever part of the song that you have chosen to cover or perform, is it the best part? Have you just wasted 10 seconds just playing chords that are going to intro to the best part? So always think, have I chosen the best, most hookiest, interesting part of the video to start the video at? Because again, it's so quick. So the very first 2-3 seconds, really, am I going to stop and watch this? Does this grab me? Has this caught my attention? And again, vanity metrics. I could bang on about this stuff for days because I am big on the organic stuff. But really, vanity metrics. You've got to ask yourself, why do you want to go viral? Who are you impressing? Because again, you could go viral tomorrow, and I've seen people who do go viral and they don't convert any followers because is a video that's popping off and it might not have anything to do with them, or it's a video popping off, but people visit the page and the page isn't really selling to the traffic. It's not going, if you follow this page as a consumer, as a follower, I know what I'm going to get over and over again. And again, I see this often as well, is that people think success is going viral. It can help, but then you got to keep building. You got to sustain it as well. And you've also got to make sure that the whole funnel is in check. Like one of the most important pieces here is the link in bio. And half the time I go onto link in bio, either links aren't updated, or I go onto the link in bio and there's like 12 different buttons you want me to go to. Keep it super simple. It's like herding sheep. You got to tell people where you want them to go. So like literally keep it to like 1 or 2 links in the bio maximum, because otherwise you're overwhelming people. You're diluting that traffic way too much. But honestly, vanity metrics, this whole like, we need to get all these Spotify, I need to pay for ads to get my Spotify streams up. Don't worry about it. Literally just focus on your core fans, the people who are going to show up for you, the people who are going to sign up to your mailing list, who are going to buy a ticket to some of your first shows, going to buy your merch. If you had 1,000 fans literally paying like 10 quid a month, you'd probably be able to go full-time in music. You probably would. So if you think about it that way, 1,000 fans really in the world, that's your main focus. None of this like I need to get 1 million streams on Spotify, because that doesn't guarantee fans anyway as well. It looks pretty, but imagine if Spotify took away the stream count tomorrow, no one would give a shit. So think about, what do you actually want? Do you want to do music full time? What do you actually want from this? And then again, as a coach, that's how I kind of get into all of it and I figure out a plan for you. But that's where I would start. So this whole vanity metric, don't worry about it so much. Focus on engagement. That's your best thing. Don't worry if your video is not getting 1 million views, 10,000 views, whatever. Small incremental steps. That's all this is. Okay, so consumer psychology. Get into this bit real quick, and then we're going to take some questions as well. So when I mention the word value, and I say this word often, what I actually mean by it is there are a few value pillars on social media. So why do consumers consume the things? Why? What do we want? Why do we go on social media? Few key pillars is educational content. That's largely where I fall in too. So thought leaders, teachers, coaches, educational content. Aspirational content. So maybe you follow like a lifestyle influencer, a travel influencer, because you aspire to maybe their lives. Entertaining content. That's largely where musicians fall under. Although musicians, you could really fall under any of this stuff, honestly. But mostly entertaining content is your bag. Comedians, actors maybe, and then emotional stuff. So that could be storytelling content, poetry, things like that, things that pull on the heartstrings. But that's the 4 key things that people want. That's the value pillar. So always think like, what value am I giving? Is this a tutorial? Is this education based? Am I talking about how I made something? Or am I going in for the storytelling element? Or are we going to have something more entertaining based? But again, always try and tap into at least one of these. And musicians, you could probably do like all of these, honestly. So again, if you don't know about the decade rule of 7, this is really just kind of more from like the marketing advertising side of things, but it's good to know, because this is why consistency works. Is for consumers, we need to see an ad on average around 7 to 8 times before it sinks in and before we go do the thing that we want to do. So for those of you, again, just put maybe, you know, just shout, maybe put yes or something in the chat. But for those of you out there who post one post and then are like, yep, that got 200 views, never doing that post ever again. If that is you, if you just post one idea and then you're like, right, I've got to make a completely brand new idea all over again, and you never go back to that video because you're like, oh, I got 200 views, never trying that again. Honestly, I'd really reconsider it. I would go back to that same post and not give up just at the 200 views. If you're stuck in the 200 view jail, go back, try, re-edit that post, reformat that post, post the same post with a different hook at the start, try a different piece of music, something. Try it again and again and again and again. And I always think about this person that I came across on TikTok once, where they did this exact same thing. They posted it 9 times, and every single time they posted it, they re-edited it a little bit. They studied the drop-off point, came in, fixed it, re-edited it. They did it 9 times until they started getting multi-million views, and they started off with like a couple of hundred views, but they didn't give up. But also proof that consistency, the biggest thing. And again, same thing, we're getting those comments all the time. I keep seeing you on your For You page. Yeah, because I repeat stuff all the time and I'm consistent all the time. There is a reason for it. It's all very well thought out. But really is never the only person that ever sees your content, 100% of it is you. No one else is going to see 100% of everything you do. So if you are posting, you're like, I don't want to overpost because it's going to get annoying, or I don't want to overpost because, you know, I'm going to annoy my friends and family. Wrong attitude. You have to, because things move so fast. There's no way people are seeing that much of your content. No way. So repeat stuff. Massive, 100% you got to do it. Okay. And again, another thing, this goes back to the would they stop and watch, but would they understand what this video is? And this goes back to context. I will die on the context hill, guys. They have to understand what it is that you are doing. And again, don't presume that people know. So, and that really goes down to what you're saying, how you write things. Just take a little quick check and go, if this was to pop up on my For You page, have I just worded this correctly? Or again, if I'm doing a remix of something, does this make sense? Are people going to get what it is I'm doing? Because if people don't, they're not going to stop and try and figure it out. They will swipe. So again, understanding things super quick, really, really important. Sometimes we can over explain ourselves. And again, it's too much. So bite-sized information as well, massively important. Okay. And this is kind of one of the biggest key takeaways. So I'm going to run through this as well. Okay, building trust. This is really where it's at. And this kind of goes back a little bit to my earlier note where I was basically saying how it's not about you. And so if you are someone, when you are promoting a song and your social media just moves into sell, people are going to switch off really quickly. They're going to get burnt out. They're going to literally be numb to the ask. And this is why I tell all the artists that I coach and in my membership to not ask people to pre-save their music anymore. I even asked Brian Johnson at Spotify myself, and he literally said, if you want to build your Spotify, following is way more important than pre-saves. Because if you think about it, the whole mechanics of pre-saving is crap. No one really wants to do it. Most consumers of music, by the way, aren't obsessed with music like we are. Most are passive listeners. Most don't even understand why we're asking them to pre-save the music. They don't understand that it helps the algorithm. You know what else helps the algorithm? Follow account. You know what else will get you into Discover Weekly and the algorithmic playlists? Follow account. And then they followed you, and then they get your music over and over and over again. They don't have to keep pre-saving. The other reason why I say just push for Spotify follows other than pre-saves is because literally everyone else is asking for pre-saves. So everyone is so numb to the ask. So again, it's all about just approaching this differently. Following people on Spotify, way more easy, way more quicker. You don't have to re-sign into Facebook and do any of that crap. Literally just get your following count up. So again, but be very, very particular on what you ask your audience to do and when, because abusing the trust, I see it all the time. And so every time I ask my audience to do something, I pack it with loads of other good value-based stuff. And I'll touch on it in a little bit, but reasons why audiences convert is because they feel safe. Us humans, human nature, we like to feel safe. We like to feel comforted. That's why things like, you can track your car in Uber. That's why that works so well, because again, it aligns with expectations of when is the car going to arrive. The pizza tracker on Pizza Hut or Pizza Express or all the trackers, Deliveroo, everything has a tracker. Because we as consumers like to feel comforted. We like knowing when things are going to happen. We do not like uncertainty. So we need to make people feel safe. And the way to do that is, again, by our content, especially on TikTok. This is the best thing for conversion. Why it's really important to keep things simple on TikTok is because by doing that, by just posting one or two certain series, one or two visual consistencies, so your feed looks very safe and secure, what you are conveying to a potential follower is, if I follow this person, this is the content I'm going to receive over and over and over again. So if you follow Atlanta at Music Industry Mentor, you will get music industry advice over and over again. You will see me in front of my discs like this, talking, and then you might get a few carousel posts as well. And that's it. I don't post about my personal life. I don't post about my holidays. I don't post about my pets. You're not going to see that because no one cares. And also, if I posted anything and everything, even visually different stuff, people would go, well, I don't know what content I'm going to get next. And again, this is why it really helps to simplify what you're posting, because audiences like to feel safe. And then they also, no one likes being sold to. So if you are constantly just posting, going and telling your audience to buy this thing, do that, stream, pre-save, follow, do this, people are going to be like, you're not here for us. You didn't care about us. So you've got to build that trust, and that takes time. So first, got to make them feel safe. Then you've got to build the trust, and then they start converting. So again, this is what I mean by that visual familiarity, right? Even down to like, again, I've gotten pretty intense with it, but even down to the clothes, black, reds, I was doing at one point. And but again, those visual cues here, just like over and over and over, even down to the thumbnails, the same text, the same colors, over and over and over and over and over again. Because I want people to go, oh, I feel confident. If I follow you, I'm going to get that piece of content over and over and over again. And that's how it works on TikTok. If you see a dog video and you love that dog video, you click onto the profile in expectation of more dog videos. But if you saw that dog video and landed onto a profile and there were videos about all sorts of other crap, you probably wouldn't follow it because you just want the thing that's led you to the profile. That's how it works. That's the consumer chain. So even with, this is one of my clients that I was working with, Adam, awesome singer. He even just these tiny little cues here are like the green cactus, super random, but same position, literally same position, how he sat, same color grading, same cactus, again, over and over and over and over again. Different piece of content. He's doing just covers. He's just singing, because singing, his vocal thing is his thing. That's his ikigai. So it's like, great, just sing over and over again. Sing songs that showcase your voice, but visually very simple. Because again, now we know if I follow Adam, that's what I'm going to get. It's not a mess. And again, I think this has come up from people on Instagram, where it's been this unwritten rule of every single post on Instagram needs to look different. Not the case on TikTok. Simple scales. Really important lesson. Okay, I've touched on the give, take method. Super short answer to this one is basically give in abundance way more than you take from your audience. So the more you give, the more you'll get back. And I did this from like 0 to 10,000 followers on TikTok. I had no services to sell. I've all been supply on demand, which has been great. But it's been like that because I didn't get on TikTok to go, oh, you can work with me. You can sign up to my membership. I never did that. I gave free shit. And then people started DMing me and commenting, going, how can I work with you one-to-one? Can I join your membership? Can I join your custom coaching program? And I was like, yeah, okay, if that's what you want, okay. But I did it for like 6 months, just gave. So that's why when you are releasing music, even when you're releasing music, still give the goods, still create content just to entertain your audience, to give them something. And that's it. It doesn't always have to be selling, promoting, marketing your music, because the more you give all your stuff, people will want it. They know where to go stream it. They know how to access your music if it's out. They will all want it as a byproduct, because you're just showing up and you're showering your audience with, you're just nurturing them. And it's not all about you and just selling all the time. So that was the hack, really. And then so again, the cheeky secret formula is quality, consistency. That's it. You need the two. You can't have loads of bad shit. Likewise, you're going to grow really slow if you've got like 2 great posts. So it's all about, again, incremental steps. But every time I post, I just say like, it's just got to be 1% better with every single post. Maybe the lighting's a bit better. Maybe the audio's a bit better. Maybe the framing, maybe your energy. But with time, you got to raise the bar slowly. Otherwise, you're going to peak way too soon. But it's all about keeping the bar where it is and raising it slowly. And that's it. That's how you get the results. But yeah, I've thrown a lot of information there, guys. I think that's pretty much, you know, you all know now, hopefully, that perfection doesn't exist. And that's easy to say, but I promise it doesn't. So in the best way you're going to learn how to do all this, obviously, is by attending things like this. But then you got to go do it. You got to get it all done. And that is my lecture. That is my TED talk of the day. As you can see, I can talk about this stuff for hours, but we're going to hand it over to you guys. And yeah, any questions at all, let us know for sure.
Thanks, Atlanta. That was amazing. And I've got a couple of questions I'd love to throw at you whilst other people
Yeah.
are asking questions, if that's okay. So before I do, if anyone does have any questions, stick them into the Q&A chat and we will pick those up in a second. You know, something that we sometimes talk about with artists is like batch creating content and then using a scheduling tool, right?
Yeah.
But when I'm kind of thinking about that and when you were talking, obviously you potentially then miss out on interacting with your fans once you posted that content because perhaps you're not there, you know. So
Yep.
what's your view on batch creating and scheduling content for the artists that are time poor, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that well, first of all, I've never used a scheduler. I'm big on batch creating content. That's how I started. Now, you know, I mostly am running my business. I do everything myself still. Desperately need a team, but I still do everything myself. So really creating content is something that I have very limited time on doing as well. And pretty much all the artists that I work with, they also have full-time jobs also. So it's kind of really about creating a system that works for the individual. Some people work very well with just putting like an afternoon aside and batch creating and then dropping it throughout. Some people, like me now, do it on the fly, as and when they get the impetus. One thing I will say with the schedulers is I think, and also this also goes down to kind of outsourcing anything. So leaning into ads, bringing in a team. I think it really is quite imperative to be in the trenches doing it very much at the start and posting. So you know immediately, like, are people interacting? And I think the one thing you do miss is if you are using a scheduler, you're going to miss out on being present with the audience and, you know, being that person to like, comment, favorite it immediately. So everything I've ever posted, I've never actually scheduled it at all. It's all manually done. But again, it's finding that rhythm to all of this. And it's very easy to drop off. And as soon as you drop off, it's harder to come back. Like with literally any hobby or any skill, talent you're building, anything. So again, finding that system that works for you. But I do think just be careful with the scheduling tools so you don't miss out on being there with your audience.
Yeah. Great, thank you. And I can see a couple of questions popping in. Beth Brandy has asked one. She's asked,
What's up there?
can over posting on TikTok have the opposite effect on your growth?
Only if you are over posting and the videos are bad. Like like I was saying, if you're posting loads of poor content that looks like you haven't really thought about it, or you're just shoving it up there, and again, like maybe it's poor quality, then yeah, that can, because what you're doing is you are, if you think about it, think about some of your favorite creators. And I know this is true with me anyway. When I see the name of some of my favorite creators on the For You page, immediately I stop to watch it because I know they're going to hit. I know they're going to slap. And that's because they've consistently posted videos that slap. They haven't been inconsistent with their quality. And so already I'm going to stop and watch it, whether it's brand new or not. I don't care about the social proof side of things. I know because I trust that creator because they have consistently delivered great, entertaining, valuable content. So I'm now just going to stop and watch it regardless because I know it's going to be good. Whereas if you are posting a lot of like low quality stuff that isn't good, then you're basically telling people every time you see my name pop up on your For You page, it's not going to be worth your time because I've already wasted your time the last 5 posts that you watch because they just weren't that good. I didn't spend that much time on them. I didn't give that much thought into them. So that's all it's about, is just basically reassuring people by posting quality stuff that you are worthy of their time and attention, because that's all we are trying to fight against, is everybody's time and attention. So that's why whenever people ask like how many times to post, it's not about how many times you post. If you are posting incredible content and you're posting loads of it, sure, chances are you're probably going to grow faster than the person that's posting like one post a week. That's just basic logic. But if you're posting a lot of rubbish, you probably won't grow as much, because it's not about the volume of posts, it's about what it is you are posting.
Brilliant. Great answer. And
very passionate about that answer.
And Matthias Moritz has essentially asked, I think, that if you're creating, rock music for 12-year-olds, that audience might not live on TikTok, it might not live on Instagram either. How do you then go about, I guess, like utilizing digital platforms to reach your audience, or are there other means to reach that audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good one as well, because I also think everyone presumes that TikTok is the only way to make it, but this is where knowing who you want to target and knowing who your audience is a really important part. I mean, for example, like if I was someone who wanted to, I don't know, advise CEOs, like consult for CEOs, I would be posting on LinkedIn, not on TikTok, because they're not hanging out on TikTok. Musicians are hanging out on TikTok. That's my main profile, my main platform. So again, just having that basic understanding, where are your audience hanging out? So for, the older generation, a lot of them are on Facebook. Facebook Reels, by the way, massively untapped because no one's really using them. My old neighbor, massive profile on Facebook Reels, was booked out speaking around the world at like conferences because like he was crushing it on mindset stuff on Facebook Reels. And he was like, yeah, it's because the competition's less. I was like, damn. So that could be a shout. Other things as well is, again, this is a much more slower build. You're not going to have as much of a wide international reach, but make sure, because this is quite good from the older generation as well, if you were doing anything in person, go ham on like the QR codes or sign up lists or anything like that, where you can capture that data and build a mailing list, because email marketing is still massive. And it also, if you get a great email marketing, you don't have to be busting out like TikToks all the time. So very, very big on that. I have been building one quietly for months as well. And I really recommend everyone to do that. So yeah, I think for older generations, like Facebook, YouTube, I think YouTube's a hard one to crack, although YouTube Shorts seems to do pretty well for conversion of followers. So maybe YouTube Shorts could be a shout as well. But yeah, TikTok, I think also for rock genres and TikTok seems to be a hard nut to crack. Maybe look at also live streaming, maybe dabble with things like Twitch. I've seen a lot of my kind of more indie alternative artists do quite well with live streaming.
Super interesting. And you said there, Atlanta, that YouTube Shorts can be good to convert, fans into followers. Is that YouTube subscribers, or would that be converting
subscribers?
It is, yeah, okay.
Yeah, for some reason, and we've spoken to people at YouTube, because their algorithm is pretty wild. I don't know how much you guys are dabbling on that, but like literally some videos will just boom and then others will be like 10 views. And we've asked our YouTube partners and they don't really even know themselves. We're like, if you guys don't know, no one really is going to know what is going on with your algorithm. But one thing I do see is, I barely touch YouTube Shorts, but people just seem to cross over and subscribe really easy for some reason. So might be a wave to potentially catch before there's likely to be another big YouTube renaissance when everyone gets burnt out with short form and they want longer form again. And then it'll come back in another wave in like another 15 years.
Super interesting. And to be honest, that's quite a nice segue into Andrew Moore's question, who's essentially asked, I think, if do these strategies that you've created for TikTok, and you touched on this actually with your previous answer, apply to platforms like Instagram, or are there nuances to the platforms? If you want to build a profile in Instagram, do you need to be doing something slightly different to if you're building it on TikTok?
Yeah, no, I think you do. I think because all the platforms are slightly built differently. And so I think if your strategy is, I'm just going to post the same video on all platforms and expect the same results, it's probably not going to happen. First and foremost, different platforms push different things. So TikTok will push carousels a little bit more, like the photo dump posts. And TikTok are also trying to push slightly longer form content. Whereas on Instagram, their whole thing is like 90 seconds max. YouTube, 60 seconds. So it really varies as well. Other things as well, I think Instagram is notoriously hard to grow as fast as TikTok. That's why TikTok has just boomed, because it's kind of, the whole thing was anyone's got a chance to grow very fast. and we are all nations of very impatient people now. So that's why TikTok is just 10x the race. Instagram, you still can grow. I'm seeing decent growth. But in terms of kind of long sustainable growth, what I see works very well is collaborations on Instagram. So where you can cross promote, you can tap into people's audiences. That's a real kind of biggie at the moment on Instagram, I would say. And then the second thing is blast the reels. That's the main thing that Instagram are pushing out. Shorter reels, for some reason, seem to be working quite well, and more like aesthetically led. I still think Instagram still has a touch of like aesthetic to it, whereas TikTok, you can kind of get away with how things look, still keeping it simple, but Instagram still likes kind of pretty stuff. It still hasn't fully shaken that off yet. So yeah, there are slightly different things. That being said, I have like 10% of my following is on Instagram versus what I've got on TikTok, but I have the most conversion and engagement from Instagram stories and DMs. I always try and get people into my DMs, have a chit chat with them, and I always use like all the engagement features on stories, and I get the best conversion from it. So yeah, that's but Instagram, they ask their creators to do the most, and will reward them the least. Like they literally are like, if you want to grow, you got to post like every single day, and everyone's like, you suck, Instagram. So yeah, it's notoriously hard to grow.
Okay, great. And look, I've got one last question that I wanted to ask, which was like a big question to wrap up the conversation. And really, and we touched on this before the call actually, but it's kind of community and owning your data and your fan base, and you touched on this when you're talking, is really topical and seems to be front of mind for a lot of artists and labels. And it feels like maybe traditional marketing, like press perhaps, is falling by the wayside a touch. But what do you think is next when it comes to artists reaching their fans? We've talked a lot about TikTok today. Do you think that that's actually going to dictate the next 3 to 5 years? Or do you think there's something else that artists will be able to start to focus on to reach their fans in new ways?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is definitely topical. I mean, there's even like direct to fan music apps that, James Blake was getting behind. There's a few of that. I'm interested to see how those kind of fare, but I still think, and because I got a lot of friends who are musicians, there's Orla Gartland, who I know, and she's done very well with her Patreon, and that basically funds her touring. And she's had it. It's like a secret demo club. She's had it for years building it. And so again, this is all going to kind of be dependent per artist, but I've also coached quite a few artists recently, where they've had kind of like a dormant Patreon, and I'm like, do you ever push it? Do you ever publicize it? Do you ever talk about it? Like, no, it's just there if people want to sign up. And I was like, all right, let's just try create some content where you spotlight that you have this community there. See what happens. Put that to the top of your link in bio. Try it for a couple of weeks. They came back and they're like, yeah, we just got loads of signups because we started like talking about it and we're excited about this new community we have. And I was like, what do you know? Like, people want it. And so, and we worked as well on developing the different tiers that you can get, the different price points, and again, what they can give their community. But yeah, things like Patreon are working well. I've just literally launched my own community, 100 signups within 2 weeks, soft launch. People do want it. And I think community is, especially in music, again, it's that classic saying of like, if you want to go far, go together. Networking is a massive part of it as well. So people do want to feel a part of something. And I would say, if you really want to tap into your core audience, start as soon as possible with building essentially like these online parasocial relationships in a way. Something I've done from day dot with some of my early like adopters, I don't know, followers, guess, people who comment on my stuff often. And I would always, I'd reply to them, I'd mention them by name. And then I started seeing them coming back and over and over and over again and keep commenting. I'm like, and now I like fully know my regular visitors. And what do we know? Those are the first people to sign up to work with me, first people to do anything, because I've sat and again, I've spent time in the comments with them. So yeah, if you get one person commenting, spend time, appreciate them, mention them by name, shout them out. Really take time to spotlight your early fans, because all of that will cultivate into a moment when you're ready to launch a mailing list or launch a show or launch a community or something. So if you're not there yet, But yeah, I would say get in there and like chat to people. Everything I do as well. Anytime I get a nice comment or DM or message, I screenshot it, put it on my stories, shout them out. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Always. So anytime you get a nice comment, screenshot, put it out. Spotlight your audience as much as possible. Because again, that does come back. But yeah, I think TikTok is great for reach and nightmare for community. Instagram, nightmare for reach, great for community. I wish we could have something that just gave us all the things, but that would be too easy, obviously. So it's really just playing to each app's strengths and kind of like manipulating it for your own gain, really. So like, yeah, I think that's really it. And finding what platform works well for you as well, you know. I think that's an important part.
I think that's really important. We talk to so many artists and they're like, which platform should I use? You know, and I think the question back is, well, let's think about your audience. Where are they sat? And then you can double down on the platform that works best for you, like you said. Amazing. Well, look, we have had some more questions, but where can people ask these questions to, Atlanta? Because we've got to wrap up now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So I know that there's so I talk about this weekly to the Artist Like Coach, but it's, if you can still see my screen, it's at Music Industry Mentor. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram because that's where I can chat with more people than I can on TikTok. But yeah, I offer free music industry advice. If you want to sign up to my newsletter, you can. It's in the bio on my page. And also, you know, join a membership if you want. It's all there for you. This is just a snippet of the course inside the membership, but there's tons of stuff in there. All the information is in that link in bio if you want it. Otherwise, you get all the free goods on my page. That is more than enough to get learning on how to do this stuff. It's hours worth of free content online.
Amazing. And we will share, everyone who's been a participant and who's registered, we will share all the necessary links so they can access you really easily, Atlanta.
Yeah, good stuff. Beautiful. Nice one. Appreciate you, Alex, for having me on. Lovely
Thank you
to
so
meet
much,
you guys.
Thanks to everyone for joining as well. And Atlanta, thank you so much for this. I've learned so much and I'm sure everyone else has. And,
my pleasure. Anytime. I love talking about it.
Thanks again, and we'll catch up soon.
Right. Good stuff, guys. See you in a bit. Peace out. Bye.
Bye-bye.